Great. And so welcome to the 20-day Sun Salutation Journey. My goal over this 20 days is to take you through 15 rounds of Namaskara B, which is Sun Salutation B or Sun B, as some people know it. Which I know that there's a few people who are probably chomping at the bit to really get there, really want to get moving. Maybe there's some people who are like, I'm ready to go really, really slowly. And just for both groups of people, we just want to make sure that however we go through this, that we're doing it with proper alignment. So we're going to be going over the proper placements of our hands and our feet, and working through some alternate postures so that when we get tired, we have another move to do, so we're not doing it incorrectly and potentially injuring ourselves. And eventually we're going to get up to we're going to learn the routine and we're going to do it smoothly for 15 rounds. Now this is something that is recommended you do 28 times, right? So, and I know maybe some of you don't really know what it is that we're getting into yet, but eventually that will mean something pretty big to you. 28 sun salutations is a lot. But it is a really beautiful spot to start out any physical practice. It's a great spot to start out our yoga practice, any kind of physical movement, the foundation, a great spot to build your core, bringing awareness to your body by moving on the breath. So lots of goodness to come out of this. Our goal will be eventually to do every posture on the breath, but we're going to start out nice and slow before we get there. So let's come standing at the top of our mats, and we'll jump right into it. So again, today we're basically just going to go over the routine. We're going to go over the postures, the proper placements, and we're just going to really, really slowly learn it together. This is going to serve to warm us up as well. And again, don't worry. Again, like I said, if you're really wanting to get going with this and move a little bit more, it's coming. And also if you're a little apprehensive and, this is great, don't worry, we're going to start nice and slow. Okay, so coming to the top of your mat, anywhere in the top third of your mat is perfect. We're going to stand with our feet hips distance apart. Now look down at your feet, and you just want to imagine that you've got like 4 corners to your feet, and you want to have them lined up. So you can actually take the outside of your foot and line it parallel to the edge of your mat. That's a really great way to do it. And then you just want to make sure that you have a slight bend through your knees. You're not locking through the back of your knees here. So we'll have a slight bend through our knees. Okay, and then let's just take a nice deep breath in through our nose, all the way in deep. Hold at the top and exhale. One more like that, inhaling. Holding at the top and exhale. Beautiful. Now continuing through so we're technically right now we're in what's called Tadasana, which is mountain pose. So again, our feet are hips distance apart, our knees are slightly bent, and then you want to take your thighs and actually imagine you're pressing them out to the side. So you're trying to press them away from each other, and you're going to have your legs engaged here. Then from here, you're going to tuck your tailbone under, sending your pelvis forward, and then you'll engage your lower belly through doing that. Check to see if your ribs have popped out, suck them in, drop your shoulders back, slightly squeeze them together, just ever so slightly, and draw them down your back. And now you're going to face your palms forward and reach your fingertips towards the ground. From here, we'll tuck our chin in slightly, and then just imagine there's a string attached to the top of your head and it's being drawn up to the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath in, and out your nose, exhale. Now imagine that string from the top of your head is dangling down, all the way down to the base of your spine, one long line, So you're nice and tall and straight in your posture here. Relax through your jaw, relax through your eyes, and relax through your tongue. And these are actually really great check-in points to make sure that we're doing our moves properly and we're not over extending ourselves in our postures. If our jaw, our tongue, and our eyes are soft, if we're not furrowing our eyebrows, and if we're breathing, this means we're within our range, that we're not potentially going to hurt ourselves because we're pushing too hard. Okay, great. So this is Tadasana, and this is our starting pose. From here, we're going to inhale and reach our arms up towards the sky and look up. Now, one thing we want to make sure, again, is that we tuck our ribs in so that we're not leaned back through our lower back. We want to tuck our ribs in and get the extension through our underarms here, and we maybe even want to reach back slightly, but it comes through the chest and not the lower belly. Okay, and exhale your hands down by your side. Again, let's check in with our body. Make sure your knees are not locked. Thighs are pressing away from each other just slightly. Pelvis is under, ribs are in, shoulders are drawn back and together slightly, and then fingers are pressing towards the ground. Chin tucks in, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, arms up, look up past your fingers, tuck your ribs in. And we're going to exhale, pull your belly button in and up, and you're going to fold at your waist, forward fold, taking your fingertips to the ground, keeping any kind of bend in your knee that you need to get here. So again, we want to make sure our feet are hips distance apart here. And we're just touching our fingers to the ground. So depending on your hamstrings, that may look deeper, or you may have a straighter leg. Either way, try to see if you can shift the weight of your hips over your ankles. Okay. From here, we're going to take our fingertips to our shins, and we're going to straighten our back. It'll be an inhale, 3/4 lift, look forward. So fingertips are to the shins. Our back is horizontal to the ground. So we want to have a flat back, we want to be looking forward, and we want to have our belly pulled in and up slightly here. So this is an inhale, 3/4 lift. Draw your shoulders slightly down your back as you do this. Try not to let them shrug up into your ears. And then in an exhale, we're going to pull our belly buttons in and up and forward fold, as if you're folding from your hips, as if you have a bar across your hips and you're trying to come up and over. Again, a bent knee is fine as long as you can take your fingertips to the ground, and you're also going to look in towards your legs here, making sure your hips are shifted over your heels. Now you're going to bend your knees a little more deeply, press through your feet, and inhale, arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, hands down by the side. So we haven't gone through we're not going through it in the proper order just yet. We're just kind of warming up to get there on our first way through. So inhale, arms up. And exhaling, we're going to forward fold, belly button comes in and up, fingers touch the ground. Inhale, 3/4 lift, look forward. And exhale, forward fold, we're going to look inwards. Nice deep breath in here. And exhale. Now we're going to take our fingertips to the ground, and we're going to step our right foot back. Drop the right heel so that your toes are forward on a 45-degree angle. You're going to make sure your left knee is over top of your right ankle. It's important to have the knee stacked properly here. You can shorten your stance to start and work on lengthening it as we go. From here, you're going to press your feet into the ground and bring your body up. Now, we want to make sure that our shoulders are over our hips and that we're not leaned forward here. So you're going to press down through your back foot and take your arms up to the air. At any point coming out of this, if it's too much, we're going to talk about what's happening with our body here and just work on some alignment cues. So from here, again, we want to make sure we're pressing through the pinky edge of our back foot. We're also working to pull our right hip forward and our left hip back, squaring them to the front of the mat. Now if you're finding this challenging and you can't get your back foot down, take your foot and step it out slightly to the right. Give yourself a little bit more space between your feet. Another tip here is to shorten your stance. Again, you want to make sure your knee is over your ankle and you're turning your shoulders to the right as well. Reaching up towards the ceiling, tuck those ribs in, pelvis under. And then we're going to pull our belly button in, take our hands to the ground, and step our left foot back into a high plank. In our high plank, we're just going to drop to our knees quickly because we're going to talk about hand placement. And I'm a real big stickler on this whole hand placement thing because this is where we can run into a lot of trouble. So we want to have our hands so that our fingers are wide. So thumb and pinky are spread as wide away from each other as comfortably possible. Then you want equal distance between your fingers. Then you're going to squeeze your fingertips onto the ground and tip the weight into your thumb and forefinger. So you're not dumping into the pinky edge of your hand. That's going to put pressure on the small bone on the outside of your wrist, and that can over time cause injury. So we're taking our thumb and pinky away from each other, squeezing your fingertips into the ground. You can maybe even see if your fingertips turn white here. And then that's 100%, take it back to about 30. So you're just slightly squeezing, and then squeeze your forearms together. And so that's kind of proper hand placement there. Now from here, while on our knees, let's step our left foot back and our right foot back, one long line. And we want to make sure our shoulders are not in our ears. We want to make sure our hips are not up in the air. We're working towards a plank here, okay? And then we're going to inhale here, and then exhaling, we're going to bend our elbows towards our body and lower down. Hit the deck. Keep your elbows squeezed into your body here. Untuck your toes. Press the back of your feet into the ground. Pressing through thumb and forefinger, we're going to press into our hands and raise our chest. There's no need to come all the way up. You can, but you can start low, just getting a stretch. Keep the lower belly in. No pain in the lower back. Bending from the upper back, squeezing elbows in, dropping them down the back, slightly squeezing shoulder blades together. Press through the back of the feet. You should be feeling this. This is quite warming. Tuck your toes. From here, you're going to press into your hands, send your hips up and back. Allow your ears to come alongside your biceps. And we're in now in downward facing dog. And we're going to review down dog as we go for the next little while because there's quite a lot of things to know in it. But again, we want to look at our finger placement. So you can look between your hands here, make sure your fingers are spread wide. Gripping through your fingers, tip your weight into your thumb and forefinger. And again, you want to squeeze your arms together like you're trying to hold something between them. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. See if you can press into your hands, shifting the weight slightly back into your feet, and then maybe press your heels down. You're welcome to have a bent knee in your down dog if it helps you get a straighter back here. And then from here, just to go through, make sure we go through one full salutation. We're going to take our right foot and step it forward between our hands. And now quickly, we're just going to go over what's going to happen for some people here is you're going to get your foot about here and not know what to do. So take your right hand to your ankle and just walk it up to the top of the mat. Okay, so how we're going to get our foot up, to work on it over time, work to squeeze your knee into your chest. So you're going to take your knee up into your chest and then send it forward. And eventually over time, you'll get farther and farther forward. Now we're going to drop our left heel, making sure our toes are on a 45-degree angle forward. See how my knee has come back of my ankle here? I want to step my back foot in slightly. I've taken too long of a stance. My feet are pressing into the ground here, knee is over ankle, and I'm going to come up for warrior one on the left side. Now your body's going to want to turn slightly to the left. This is where we want to draw back through the right hip, tipping the left hip forward, and then pressing down through that back foot, turning the chest forward, reaching up. Tuck the ribs in, tailbone under. So you don't want to be forward like this, you want to be in and up, squeezing through your feet. Again, each of these moves are going to be out of breath eventually, so we want to make sure we're doing them correctly. And then we're going to exhale, hands down. We'll be stepping back into a high plank, lowering down again. This is called chaturanga. So it's a plank pose all the way down to the floor. Squeeze the elbows into the body. Press the back of the feet into the floor. Inhale, come up through cobra. Exhale, we're going to tuck our toes, send our hips back for down dog. And then we'll inhale, look through our hands, between our hands, and then you're going to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. 3/4 lift. And exhale, forward fold, looking inward. Bend your knees, press through your feet, come all the way up to standing, hands up to the ceiling, tuck those ribs in, and exhale, hands down by your side. Great, so that was 20 minutes. So we're gonna do 15 rounds. That was one round. We're gonna do 15 rounds of those by the end of the 20 days. So again, we're going through this super slowly, and again, it may be really painfully slow for some. Hopefully not. Hopefully you're learning something here. But you know, over the 20 days when you're going through those 15 sun salutations, you're going to want to know where to put your hands and feet. You're going to want to know what feels right, because if you get going too quickly, you don't want to potentially hurt yourself. And also, it's just a really, really awesome, epic exercise that's going to leave you feeling good. I hope you enjoyed today's class, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.